The Room of Spirit and Time, / the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, was first introduced in the Dragon Ball manga in chapter 366. But was it really? In both the manga and the anime, it's mentioned that Goku trained there for about a month during his training with Kami and Mr. Popo. Prior to this, however, the anime's filler material actually introduced two separate iterations of the time chamber, both being completely different from the canon one in terms of design, functionality, etc. Today I'll be discussing these filler time chambers, as well as their origin episodes, starting with episode 129 of Dragon Ball. Mr. Popo conducts a new training regime for Goku in the Room of Time, aka the Temple Rotunda in the dub, a room that literally just has the ability of time travel. Popo sends him to the past to train with an old martial arts expert, a young Master Roshi, and yeah, that's about it. The rest of this episode is pretty much just the turtle and crane hermit thirsting over a girl or something, I don't know. If you want my opinion on it, I like the concept, but the love triangle stuff is just a little bit too silly for me. But back to what really matters here. This is the only use or mention of the Room of Time in the entire show. Not once is it ever brought up again in regards to Goku's training, with one potential exception, episode 19 of Dragon Ball Z. While the Z fighters train in preparation for the Saiyans, Mr. Popo conducts another training regime with the Room of Time, though compared to the last time we saw it, it looks completely different. They're all sent to what I'm assuming is the past, the episode doesn't really make that clear, and are eventually brutally killed by two Saiyans, who Kami states are nowhere near as powerful as Vegeta or Nappa. My opinions on this one, I think this episode in general is just better. The new design for the room is better, it nails the eerie and mysterious tones with the two Saiyans, something that Vegeta and Nappa would only go on to perfect in my opinion. And it's animated by Shindo Production, who've done some of the greatest episodes in the series in my opinion. Now that's really all there is to talk about regarding these two iterations of what would unintentionally become the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. However, that doesn't mean we should end the video off here. There's still some interesting discussions to be had regarding the two chambers. Like, what if this was the time chamber used in the Cell arc? I think it's kinda interesting because when the real one is first brought up, anime viewers are probably reminded of the previous time rooms from all that time ago, and probably also thought that the one Piccolo referred to was actually one of the rooms of the past, until it was proven otherwise, of course. However, what if the Room of Spirit and Time, in manga and anime, was simply the Room of Time? As in the one Goku was actually shown training in as a child, rather than the real one which happened off screen. Here's my brief what if scenario, and I promise I will not make a 2-hour long PNG slideshow here. When Vegeta and Trunks, and eventually Goku, Gohan, and Piccolo enter the room, Mr. Popo sends them to the past, where they trained with the legendary Super Saiyan Yamoshi. Or here's another one. What if the Room of Time actually came back in Dragon Ball Super? That's only the idea though, because figuring out how it could possibly coexist with stuff like time rings and temporal do-overs is kinda difficult to figure out right now. Beyond that, there's really no telling what could happen in those scenarios, but it's still interesting to see how the rest of the series could have been had Toriyama gone through with this. Especially considering the fact that pretty much no piece of filler material before or since the Room of Time, unless we count movie material, had been officially canonized by Toriyama in any way. I'm not saying it would have been better if it was. The Hyperbolic Time Chamber is such a simple yet fascinating setting in Dragon Ball history, and if it canonically was just a fancy time machine, then it would simply be far less interesting and iconic. With all that being said, let me know what you all think about these potential time chamber predecessors in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and with that being said, see ya.